So Bison Engineering was started in 1980 in Helena, Montana. And we started out specializing in air quality consulting, compliance, testing, monitoring. I started with Bison in 2000 after working about 14 years in the aerospace industry. And I came into that with a chemical engineering degree. And that's what I really like about working with Bison and working in this field of consulting and the environmental consulting, because I get to work with all kinds of different industries and use a little bit of my chemical engineering background and my industry background, but I get to be involved with all these other industries and facilities that are doing great things. And I find it a privilege to be able to work with those people and partner with them to do that. And we have an office in Helena, one in Billings, and we now have an office in Arizona as well. We've done a lot of work in the Northwest. We've done a fair amount of work in Oregon in testing and consulting. There's a lot going on there. The state has decided they want to create a whole new set of regulations, specifically reducing toxic air pollutant emissions, and they want to approach it from a standpoint of evaluating risk to human health. And that can be pretty complicated. And this goes well beyond the way the federal programs address toxic air emissions. They don't look specifically at health risks, they just look at technology. So they're in the process right now of developing this new set of rules, and we're watching that closely to see what's going to happen to that and how it would affect the different industries. One of the pieces of that is the Department of Environmental Quality put out a letter to all permitted facilities requiring that they report to DEQ all of the toxic pollutants that they emit and in what quantities. So they have a list of 633 potential pollutants that you could be emitting, and you need to address all of those and say either you are emitting them or you're not, and for the ones that you are, you have to tell them how much you're emitting and how much you could emit. And it's not really straightforward, it's not very well defined how to do this. Those records will be available to the public. You have to be careful that you don't take a conservative factor, but you have to also make sure that you're reporting emissions that make sense with what everybody else is reporting. And that's kind of what we're looking for, is to negotiate between not being too conservative and complying with the rule. We're trying to help people negotiate those extremes and get something in where they comply, but they don't make the headlines.